Video games. Video games are a form of entertainment for all ages. The first video games were created over 40 years ago. It started off very basic, a simple game. From there, more games were created, getting more competitive and with more players. However, the gaming industry needed something new, more than just a competitive race or a logic puzzle. That's when they discovered their secret weapon: violence.
Video game violence. There is no doubt that there has been an increase in gore and violence in video games over the years. Each year, they keep getting more graphic and violent than the previous year. Where the real question lies is whether that on-screen video play violence is the cause of the violence in the real world.
"60 to 90% of the most popular video games have violent themes."
Mortal Kombat, one of the most violent video games to come out between 1992 and 1993, and with it followed a huge wave of controversy from its intense graphic violence and realistic gameplay. Hearings on video game violence and the corruption of society became prevalent from the works of Senator Joseph Lieberman. The entertainment software industry was given 1 year to form a working rating system. This system would require all video games to have a rating clearly placed on the cover of all video games and its packaging, showing what kind of content is in the game and what age group the game is appropriate for, thus creating the current Entertainment Software Rating Board, also known as the ESRB.
Do violent video games really create violence in the people who play them?
People like video games because they introduce them to worlds where they can feel freedom and where they can feel a sense of accomplishment and competence. It just happens that a lot of games that have those elements are also combat or war-type games and include violence.
Previous studies only compared completely different games, so the University of Rochester's Richard Ryan and Andrew Shabilsky altered the same game to change only the level of violence, then compared volunteers' enjoyment.
We changed it from a killing game to a game of tag. Instead of falling on the ground in a bloody death, the adversary, once tagged, appears to evaporate, and the pretense is that they're being teleported back to their home base.
They wrote in the Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin that it's those feelings of freedom and accomplishment that draw players and get them hooked, not violence.
It's the thrill of victory that's thrilling, not the production of blood and gore.
By the time a child is 18 years old, he or she will witness on television 200,000 acts of violence, including 40,000 murders.
Video games are just another form of media in which all forms of media contain different levels of violence, not just video games.
Children are very susceptible to the events of media violence. Television tends to present violence in unrealistic and misleading ways, or even with a touch of glorification. Even news programs or documentaries can distort violence by exaggerating or sensationalizing events.
So Adam Sessler, does this mean that video games with violence are dangerous to the adolescents that play them?
It's on the face of it kind of preposterous. And you know what? It's actually really disturbing and intellectually dishonest and somewhat pernicious to try to say that with all the other ills in the world, you have kids that are getting absolutely poor education in public schools, where they're not getting good medical care given to our healthcare system, and with the fact that people can't seem to get a decent job. Though, what is causing trouble among America's youth in schools? Oh, it has to be a video game. Anyone of thought should find that insulting at the face of it.
So the solution to bad grades is for kids to spend more time playing video games? Is that your answer?
We are talking about violence. I believe that there are greater reasons for the social ills of adolescent violence than playing a video game, because I believe that violence was existing prior to the release of even Pong.
Children who spent more time playing video games were more active overall, and playing was not at the expense of other activities. No relationship between video game play and aggressive behavior was found. Children who played video games more often were found to have significantly higher IQ. There are only few and controversial research results in the specific area of violent video games in children.